who goes by "This is a public service" on YouTube.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
Commander, copy, come in, you hear me? Babylon's on fire.
Who goes by "This is a public service" on YouTube.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
Come in, please. Answer. The Babylon's on fire. It's burning now.
Yeah. Pulling up like I'm in Liberty City with all the wanted stars. Entourage full of freedom fighters throwing Molotovs.
This is a public service.
Disobeying martial law and carrying steel. No Bob Marley, bitch, we went and shot the sheriff for real. And in the air you could feel there's no solution as the tension's brewing. They took our freedom, so we're fighting for some restitution. And all my fellow patriots are either dead or shooting. Unleashing retribution, it's the fucking revolution. And they gon' tear this whole establishment down with dreams of building something great from all the ashes around. Yeah, they thought we were the sheep, but take a gaze at us now. Through all the smoke and the fire, when the radio sounds like
Commander, copy, come in, you hear me? Babylon's on fire. It's burning now. Commander, come in, please. Answer. The Babylon's on fire. It's burning now.
they can stop the slaughter when we bust that rocket launcher. SWAT officer yelling, please sir, no, I got a daughter. Listen, we don't care. Half our soldiers have got children at stake. So either fight with us or hollow points will seal your fate. Cause while the people you've been serving kept us timid and tame and destroyed our fucking planet all for money
This is a
and power.
public
We've all
service.
been treated like the pawns within their sinister games. And now we watch them flee like rodents from their crumbling towers. Yeah, they begging for we murdered them. When y'all assassinated all our hope for change, where was the mercy then? And now y'all want forgiveness when the fucking guns are smoking and your perfect picket fences are all busted open. Shit, you must be fucking joking. Y'all had your moment to live lavish and peaceful. We endured through all the tyranny and madness and evil. Now we've had it and we will burn your corporations down, sever heads, take your crowns and give them back to the people. Bow.
Commander, copy, come in.
This is a public
Yeah,
service on YouTube.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
It's burning now. Commander, come in, please. Answer. The Babylon's on fire. It's burning now.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to today's show. And today we're going to talk about something that I saw on the interwebs. Welcome in. Let me know if audio cuts out at any point. That's a thing, apparently. Buzz, what up? JC, at KS Wrights, not for Nuke, War, what up? Gregory, what up? Wood Chipper for Pedos. I agree. Freeland Myers with you. I'm with you on that one as well. Low Dimes, Leslie, my dear friend, my dear Liberty friend, Leslie. Thank you very much for being here today. If you guys haven't checked out Leslie's channel, I encourage you to do so. She, you guys probably know who Leslie is, and if you don't, well, go to her channel and learn about her. But she is, she's basically Lady Liberty. That's how I look at her. And she has been there for me many times to center me from maybe it's just center me for myself. I don't know. But anyway, I saw or heard this on the interwebs, and I thought not not a lot of people saw it over here, so we'll get a We'll get a few more people to watch it over here.
Good evening, everyone. This is Lane Myers coming to you live from North Korea here, where I'm hanging out with the likes of Kim Jong-un and the other dissenters of freedom. And tonight I want to read some bedtime stories for everyone called The Law. My bedtime stories involve case law, and I know, Rachel, when we were in when you had me unlawfully imprisoned in North Korea, the Gulag, last time, you came to talk to me at the jail, or maybe it was over the video conference thing on the jail, but you told me, I said, yeah, the case law doesn't support these charges, and you said, well, I read case law every day. Well, you have a few days to get to reading then, Rachel, because I'm going to give you some case law to read that's going to end up being your demise for your illegal plea bargain, for your illegal probation violations, for your witness, professional witness that you're going to put on the stand, as well as the victim who doesn't even know what case law is, because we heard the case law that the victim read at the injunction hearing, which was not even the right case law. So I know you guys, I've seen your skills, and they're not that good. So with that being said, the first thing we need to go over is what matters the most. Okay. Since I'm the one on all right, so Lane Myers is the one on probation, okay? Lane Myers is the one on probation, and this is the most important part. State v. Elmore, Arizona Appeals, 1992. Probation terms violate due process if a person of ordinary intelligence cannot understand what conduct is required or prohibited. Rachel, professional witness, victim, do not engage in activities that would be reasonably expected to cause others to harass or contact the victim or her family. I consider myself a pro se genius, also known as a jailhouse idiot lawyer. I've talked to Stanford professors, I've talked to lawyers, I've talked to law clerks, I've talked to other judges in the Superior Court, I've talked to many, many people, and nobody understands that. Quite frankly, Rachel, proverbial colloquialism, gun to your head, you couldn't either. You would fail the test of explaining that, because I've heard your arguments, and I look forward to coming to court and trying to argue that's a valid condition, which you did try to at the modification, but you made an embarrassment of yourself because the judge said make legal arguments and you made factual arguments. So your legal citations of Lane's an alcoholic doesn't really hold up, and I cannot wait to see your buddies down at the Arizona Attorney General try to argue that that condition is valid on its face or as applied. It violates due process, because nobody knows what that means. The condition, remove all videos that mention the victim or her family or include identifying information about them.
It's going to get louder, guys, so adjust the volume accordingly.
Mentioning the victim, that's not a violation. You can't make a condition, as we're going to read some case law, which you read every day. You can't make that a condition. Then we go to do not associate or communicate with Josh Gray. That's also an unlawful condition, and your argument why it was valid was that Josh Gray and Mark Kelly committed the same crimes I did. I didn't see them getting charged. So what facts in the record support that they committed the same crimes I did? Nothing.
Not only that, let's just see, where am I right now? Doesn't look like I'm in a jail cell, I can tell you that. So I'm not in a jail cell. I've never stopped talking about it. Never stopped talking about it from more than a year ago, all the way till the sentencing, all the way through the 11 months when he wasn't talking about it, all the way through till right this second, and it's just going to continue forever and ever and ever, because I'm not breaking the law. So it's not against the law to criticize the government. And further, it's not against the law to criticize corrupt government. these people need to get their minds right.
That's just blasphemy. And then the condition, do not post information about the victim, her husband, or minor children on YouTube or social media. That's not a valid condition because it doesn't define what information is. And plus, I can post information about the victim, and the way it's being applied is the case number. But we'll get into that here in a second. So the terms violate due process if you can't understand them. I can't understand them, and I've made that clear. So now when we look at what you're accusing me of under these conditions, you're accusing me of violating probation in the interview with Liberty Troll because I discussed the case, the victim, and the victim's spouse. This includes discussing the victim's workplace. Oh, let me, before I get myself in trouble reading off the document that's filed with the court, let me also preface that with the case law that says I can read this document.
It's a violation of probation to read his own court documents, folks. Okay, let's have that go in front of a real judge. Let's have that go in front of a real judge and tell them he can't discuss his own court case. He can't talk about Matt Walker. Tell me the world where a judge that has any honor is going to say that you can't criticize the corrupt city prosecutor. Come on. I mean, is this China? Are we in China already?
Document. That's Rule 3.6, trial publicity. If my lawyer can read it, I can read it. And it says that I can talk about the charge, the defense, and the identity of the persons involved, information contained in the public record. The public record is the amended petition. That's the public record. I can speak about the information contained in the document that you filed with the court alleging the violations. I could talk about the charge, my defense, and the identity of the persons involved. And identity of the person involved includes the victim. So if I really wanted to, I could say her name. But I actually get a bad taste in my mouth saying that person's name at this point. So I'll find the alleged victim. We call her the alleged victim for the purpose of this. And I can talk about results of any step of the litigation. Okay. Plus, Cox Arizona Publications versus Collins case law that you read every day says the contents of public records are generally exempt from ethical restrictions. Okay, so Article 2, Section 6 of the Arizona Constitution says every person may freely speak, write, and publish on all subjects. Well, I'm a person, and this is a subject, so I'm going to be speaking on it. Okay, so back to what I was speaking on is that you're alleging that I discussed the case, the victim, and the victim's spouse in Liberty Troll's video. As everybody can see from the video on Liberty Troll's channel, I did not name the victim or the victim's spouse, okay? It says that I includes discussing the victim's workplace and where to locate it. Well, anybody that goes and looks up anything in the public record can find that information. So it's public information contained in the public record. It's not redacted in any public documents. So if it's in documents at the courthouse, it's on the tip of my tongue and I'm saying it. Okay. Furthermore, the condition's unconstitutional because nobody can understand it. And then you say on the video with Illuminate the Dark, I discussed the victim, calls her a professional victim, refers to her as a person who decided to make themselves a victim of harassment as a government employee, and makes derogatory comments about the victim and the victim's spouse. That's pure speech. So let's talk about pure speech. But first, let's finish this. Then the district, let's go to pure speech. So pure speech in the state of Arizona, thankfully, there was just a case, Gregovitz versus Villa Kennedy, last month in June of 2026, which you must not read case law or I wouldn't be in jail with low bond, because in that case, they made it very clear in the state of Arizona last month that social media posts was pure speech to which the First Amendment provides strong protection. Pure speech includes written and spoken words, as well as other media such as paintings, music, film that predominantly serve to express thoughts, emotions, or ideas. And then another quote from the same case, because this involved a father and a mother, so father's social media posts are pure speech. The government may not punish his words unless they are within narrowly limited classes of speech. And those are fighting words and defamation and things like that. Well, talking about my case, pure speech, that's not an exception. Then another quote is that the case involved a mother and a father. So the mother argues that speech that harasses a protected party is one of the classes of speech not protected by the First Amendment. But the Arizona court ruled just last month that there is, however, no categorical harassment exception to the First Amendment. So obviously Metcalf doesn't read case law either. So clearly, pure speech is there's no, you can't say that do not engage in activities that be reasonably expected to cause others to harass or contact the victim, because there's no exception for harassment to the First Amendment. You cannot say that pure speech is harassment and therefore you cannot limit it because of that. So moving on, the next statement you make is that I distributed the Rule 15 interviews and Detective Brown to other YouTubers. Well, guess what, Rachel? If you read case law, you would read how the Pima County Attorney's Office got sued in 2022 for refusing to turn over, guess what? Rule 15 interviews. Get ready for this case law, Rachel, since you read case law every day. In the case of Smith versus Town of Marana, 2022, 254, Arizona 393, the case, or the court stated, police reports, photographs, interviews, all physical and video evidence is a public record, subject to disclosure. Not say that I cannot give out my interviews.
Thank you for letting me know that the sound went out. Well, what is that about? Like, seriously. If anybody else uses OBS and ever has this issue, I'd be interested in hearing about it. Hearing about how to solve it, not hear about it, obviously.
Which are public records, because the First Amendment protects me being able to do that,
We
as
good?
well as the Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 6. Not the media distributing public records. Where does that lead us to?
Alright, everybody can hear that now? I'm going to rewind it. Back to here. Let me know if I got to go further. It's, I'm on a Mac. So that might add another complexity to it.
Over public records, you would understand that police reports, photographs, interviews, meaning Rule 15 interviews, all physical and video evidence is a public record. So therefore, discussing public records, distributing public records, where does that lead us to?
What up, Howard?
Distributing public records pursuant to Schneider v. State 308 U.S. 147, 1939. Distributing public information to third parties is constitutionally protected. The distributor of such information may not be held liable. Social media is protected under the First Amendment also. The claim that expressions are intended to cause a course of impact on respondents does not remove them from the reach of the First Amendment. So you cannot say that I cannot give out my interviews, which are public records, because the First Amendment protects me being able to do that, as well as the Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 6. So you should probably read your own case law where you got sued for not turning over those interviews in the case of Smith versus Town v. Marana. You were in possession of those, and the case was against Marana, but the Pima County attorney was the one withholding them. So moving on, that means that I have a constitutionally protected right to distribute my own public records. You do not have the legal authority to hold me in jail with no bond for doing that. You also claim that under that same condition that I discussed my case and the victim, put up a document showing the case numbers, posted the victim's name, and discussing the victim and saying the victim had him in shackles and handcuffs for her lies. That's called pure speech. That's my opinion, and that's protected. That's not a violation, and the Attorney General will look really stupid trying to argue it. But not as stupid as you're going to look in court on Tuesday trying to argue that posting my case number, which the judge reads before the case, before the hearing starts, is a violation of probation of a condition that's not even legal. I cannot wait for you to claim that I posted the victim's name either. But we're going to get to that in the next condition because you're so desperate. You tried to get me on the same video under multiple conditions. So let's move forward. Remove all videos that mention the victim or her family or include identifying information about them. Okay. You claim that in the video on June 30th, better not miss it, I displayed the victim's name, discussed the case, and showed the case numbers demonstrating he was talking about.
No, this is not live court. This is I'm on Illuminate the Darks channel right here, and this is just a jail phone call from what I can assume. Bedtime stories with Lane Myers. Because apparently Rachel, she reads case law, guys. She reads a lot of case law, so she's super smart. There she is. There she is. She's almost making that chair buckle. But she reads case law. She just sits around all day reading case law. That's all she does. She's super smart.
The victim in these cases. Well, as we just went over, I can talk about my case. I just can't talk to the victim. I can't contact the victim. I can talk about the case. But here's where it gets really silly, Rachel, and I cannot wait for the world to react to your stupidity next Tuesday when you bring your buddy in there, the professional witness, who's going to come in there and say that he displayed the victim's name, and then we're going to look at the screen, and there's going to be a picture of a black man with his Wikipedia page showing. I cannot wait for you to actually come in a court of law and argue that I displayed the victim's name of a picture when it's a picture of a black man and his Wikipedia page. And since when is showing the case number, and here's your logic. We know who wrote this, though. The professional witness wrote this. On
Matt
June
Walker
30th,
is who he's talking about.
showed
Matt
the
Walker
case
wrote all
numbers
this
demonstrating
legal
he was
loser
talking about the
bullshit.
victim.
I'm sorry for getting in front of that. He's talking about Matt Walker because, just to catch everybody up, when he was given his violation, Matt was too stupid to take out first person references, so it said Shannon and I. So Matt Walker wrote up the violation of probation and gave it to Rachel, and Matt was too stupid to put it in the third person, and Rachel was too lazy or incompetent to have her vast staff do the same thing, rewrite it, and not have it be Matt, not have it be literally the Tucson City prosecutor's work product. I don't know in what fucking universe that's allowed, that the Tucson City prosecutor can collude with the Pima County prosecutor, can write the work product and share it with them to have Lane thrown in jail without bond, because Matt has the biggest feelings on earth and is happy to use his professional victim wife, throw her right under the bus, and drive directly over her. This guy is the biggest piece of trash ever.
And here's your logic. We know who wrote this, though. The professional witness wrote this.
Don't ever forget that, though, guys. Don't ever forget that Matt Walker, the lying, incompetent legal loser is the one that wrote up this legal loser bullshit and gave it to the prosecutor. And again, he was too stupid to take out the first person references. So he says, Shannon and I feel harassed. Shannon and I are scared of Lane talking about his case. This guy is so obsessed. It's so... like, what is he? Does he actually work? Or does he just sit around all day watching YouTube videos, masturbating to Lane? I don't understand it.
On June 30th, he showed the case numbers demonstrating he was talking about the victim. So showing the case numbers means you're
Am I concerned about becoming the target of these corrupt prosecutors? Yeah, yes. Yes, I am. Because I don't, I mean, I would be foolish not to, right? I would be a fool to if I lived in Arizona, I think they would have tried some kangaroo bullshit. But the fact is that I haven't broken the law. Did I need to start this video off by telling everybody to not reach out to the victim, the alleged victim, the professional victim, playing the victim, Shannon Walker? Don't reach out to her, guys. She's a public employee, but not a public employee. I don't know how that works. Her email is public, but I don't understand. Huh. Weird.
talking about the victim. Well, you better go remove my name and case numbers off the Arizona Supreme Court website where you posted my name and the case numbers. So I don't want you to get in trouble, professional witness, for posting the case number and discussing the case.
The fact is that I'm unwilling to be silent about this. So sure, there's a risk that some corrupt government officials could come snatch me up. Sure, that's true. But the other option is not saying anything, right? And just letting this shit happen. And, I think that the vast majority of society would be happy to operate their lives like that. But I'm not one of those people. I said this in an earlier live stream when we were talking about this, but
who goes by this is a public service on YouTube.
But the fact is, that... Alright, so Jennifer Poirier, that's another corrupt government official. We got Sheriff Arbon out in Utah. If I'm willing to make videos about strangers, right? About strangers in the awful things that are happening to them, then in what universe am I not going to stand up for somebody that's actually my friend? You know what I mean? They make these ridiculous terms of probation and say that I can't talk to him. And what was my response to that? Well, there it is right there. No contact. It's actually the ultimate backfire, because where Lane could have probably talked me down from things that I maybe otherwise are not prudent, maybe, lawful. They're certainly lawful, but maybe not prudent. They basically took that release valve away, and now I'm just left to my own devices. And my own devices are obviously, Lane would never, ever, ever, ever want me to stop exposing and talking about this person. I don't believe for a second that Lane would ever want me to stop exposing Shannon Walker, Matt Walker. I don't, and unfortunately, he can't call me and tell me, listen, bro, you need to stop. If I do need to stop, they've taken that check valve away from Lane because they think they can control who people's friends are. We've never broken the law. But we can control who your fucking friends are. Okay. I will always stand up for Lane, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, Matt, Shanny, let that sink in. And I know I've said it before, but don't fucking forget it.
Including my name. The defendant's name and the case numbers are posted on the government website. Well, you better believe the case is going to be posted on my YouTube channel. And this isn't going to go away, as we'll get to tomorrow when I tell you what's going to happen next if you don't dismiss this shit. And yes, that's a promise. So, let's see. Moving forward, the next condition, you're accusing me of associating with Josh Gray, directly or indirectly, because of some stuff he posted on his channel. Well, since you read case law every day, I'm going to go ahead and help you out, save you some work, because I know you're busy prosecuting real crimes. So let's read it. Let's see, here we got, okay. So you're going to go in there and you're going to claim that I associated with Josh Gray, huh? Well, guess what? The term associate pursuant to state, here's your case law, State versus Morales, 137, Arizona 67. The term associate means more than incidental contacts. And then we got, for some federal case law, since you read that too, I'm sure, because you read case law, U.S. v. King, out of the Ninth Circuit, prolonged contact as distinguished from chance or casual meeting. Okay? Associate means prolonged contact as distinguished from chance or casual meeting. So even running into Josh Gray in Walmart wouldn't be one, but you saying that him posting a motion that he got off somebody else's YouTube page is us communicating, you're going to look really stupid. I mean, you already do. You're already making poor legal arguments, and then you're going to claim that because he put up a Rule 15 interview, which is a public record that he got from another YouTuber, that somehow that was me associating with or communicating. And then you're going to claim that I showed his page for 30 seconds. So how does me showing his page associate or communicate with him, a human being? It's a YouTube page, Rachel. It's a screen. It's on the screen. It's not a human. Associate or communicates means I, the human being, Lane Myers, communicates with the human being that is under the YouTube handle. This is a public service. And as we just read, it requires more than incidental contact. And this isn't even incidental contact. This is not even contact. This is not even communication. This is not even association. So again, you should probably read case law every day instead of making up new charges on me every day. So let's move into the next thing that we're going to go over here, which is you claim that I posted.
I can answer that. Why aren't other YouTubers up in arms? It's because they're pussies. It's because they're pussies, and not only does Lane Myers hurt government officials' feelings, he hurts other YouTubers' feelings too. And they can't look past the fact that their feelings got hurt and understand that what we're talking about here is a fundamental right. It's a fundamental right, and if we don't stand up and try to preserve and protect it, we're fucked. So yeah, all those other YouTube channels are a bunch of fucking pussies. And you know what? I don't think that they are in it for... I don't think they're in it for protecting people's rights. You know what I mean? I try to be detached from things and not emotional, but I'm obviously upset by all of this. I'm upset. I'm upset with more than just the prosecutor, right? I'm upset with more than just the prosecutor and the professional victim Shannon and Matt, because it's gone so far beyond that it does make me question a lot of things. So, and maybe that just proves that that I'm deluded or whatever. But I guess I had or have, whether it's stupid or not, more faith in the people that purport to stand up for the same things that I do. So, yeah.
Information about the victim. Again, I can't wait for you to come to court and argue that showing public service's YouTube page is posting information about the victim, which is really silly. Excuse me. Information means like phone numbers, bank account, social security.
That's Commander. That's exactly right. It is all about egos. And it's not just that they just can't handle lanes, although that is a lot of it. Maybe that is it. I don't know.
Home address, home phone number, home email. We won't even get into the fact that she's a public employee right now, because then you just accuse me of saying she's a public employee. But everybody already knows, obviously, because you said she was getting a bunch of emails. Well, how did if I didn't post her email, how did everybody get her email if it wasn't public?
Who's emailing her? Did I got carried away with myself? Did I actually finish the statement? My disclaimer that should have been at the beginning. Do not reach out to the professional victim. Oh, I did finish. So here's the second reminder, guys, because you don't have free will. You don't have free will. If you're in this chat, you are my mindless drones, apparently, and you need to be told that you cannot email the professional victim. It does. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? But Lane's right. How are people emailing her? Did they track down where she was? He doesn't even know where. He was asking Rachel if she worked at the University of Arizona, so he could go to the law library. She wouldn't answer. She worked there the whole time, even though she told the court that she quit. Another lie by Shannon. All Shannon does is lie. And for some reason, she thinks that it's never going to catch up to her. I don't understand people like that can lie like right to your face and think that it's not going to catch up to them. The 33 lies, Shannon, that shit's not going away. That shit is going to catch up with you. Maybe I can't make it catch up with you, but that shit is going to catch up with you. Karma, Shannon, Matt, it is real. It is real. So, what's that Johnny Cash song? There's a train a-comin'. It's coming. For you corrupt pieces of shit.
But we'll move on from that because we know you like to get mad and make up new charges on a daily basis.
Thank you, Howard.
And you couldn't possibly be reading case law if you're making up new charges every day. Then you're claiming that on the interview with Liberty Troll, which everybody can go to his channel and see, the defendant discusses the cases of the victim and the victim's spouse. He discusses his cases. How is discussing the cases information about the victim? It's the same argument. You posted my name and case number on the government website, so anybody could just go from there and see the same stuff, right? Okay. So I don't know how calling her a professional victim, I don't know how calling said she was a liar, conniving. It says this is on the charging document, so it's public record and I can read it. This includes discussing the victim's workplace and where to locate it, naming the victim and the victim's spouse. He also called.
John, that's the saddest thing. Man, that's the saddest thing. You know? That's heavy shit right there, bro.
Called the victim a professional victim, said she was a liar, conniving, and alleged she conspired with her spouse against him. Well, I'd say that's a statement of fact. So it's not defamation. It's a pure speech because it's an opinion. It's not directed at her because I didn't tag her or send it to her. So that's certainly the purest form of pure speech you could have, my opinion. And I would say that not only is it my opinion, but I'd say it's the popular opinion, that she was a liar, conniving, and alleged she conspired. That's what it says on the document. So does that mean if I read the document, I mean, you're putting yourself in this position. So, again, you're going to say that on the video, better not miss it. I displayed the victim's name, discussed the case, and showed the case numbers demonstrating he was talking about the victim in the case. Well, professional witness, there's only one problem with that. I did not display the victim's name. I'm allowed to discuss the case because that is not information about the victim. And showing the case numbers is also perfectly legal. And the case numbers are not information about the victim. The case numbers are information about the case. Discussing the case is not information about the victim, it's discussing the case. But here's the laughable one. In the video titled Send This One, which you could probably find somewhere or you'll be able to shortly, it says I showed the name of the victim. Well, there's only one problem. When you show the picture, because it says the screen image showing the name of the victim was preserved, well, there's only one problem. When you show that picture, it's going to show a picture of not the victim. And it's going to show the picture of somebody with the same name as the victim, but somebody with the same name as the victim is not the same as the victim, unless you're delusional like the people in this case seem to be. So moving from that, I want to read a few things, and y'all can have a good night, because I know I'm gonna sleep good tonight knowing that I stand on business, and I stand on the principles, and I read case law, and the case law protects me, and whether the judge upholds my rights or not, somebody will. So, let's get to this. My next little... So, the Supreme Court has observed that the government generally has a freer hand in regulating expressive conduct that it has in restricting the written or spoken word. And that's where your little Kessler case comes in, where you keep saying that that's the case law. Well, here's the only problem with that case. That is conduct. A sex offender talking directly to young children is conduct. It's not pure speech. So your case that you and the judge who doesn't know what they're doing keeps citing, which is Kessler, actually, every time you cite that case, I smile because I know this is going to get overturned because that case doesn't apply here. Because there's elements of speech and conduct there versus pure speech, and you're restricting my pure speech. A better way to use that Kessler case would be if I was arguing to contact the victim. And I would say that I have the right to contact the victim because it's just free speech. And you would say, no, there's conditions that have been put in place in a case like Kessler which restrict free speech, because normally I could talk to the victim. But because I have a condition where I can't, that's valid because that's expressive conduct, and you can limit my speech directly to the victim. I cannot contact the victim and say things to her. So that case would apply to that. And I'm not even challenging those conditions, because I don't want to talk to this person, and I never have, and I never will. But I will be talking about this person every day moving forward, because the law says I can. And the law says that...
Yeah, Metcalf. And Low Dimes, I agree with you. Not just the high court, the highest court in Arizona, they're in on this too. Maybe not in on this specific portion, but we all know the 122 game that's going on, so that shit is real as fuck.
If you want to impose those seeking to impose liability for speech about matters of public concern, so-called political speech, must establish some exception to First Amendment principles. And you have not established any exception to the First Amendment when it comes to information about the victim. Talking about a government prosecutor, this is a prosecutor, I could talk about him. He prosecuted me in cases. I could talk about the cases he prosecuted me. I could talk about the cases he prosecuted me, the motions he filed, and all that. Now, you can keep standing on the Kessler case, and that's going to be the case your case dies on. For lack of a better term, nobody's going to die but your cases and some feelings. Then we got political speech may not be. Oh, that other one I just said was Hustler Magazine versus Falwell at 485 U.S. at 56, 1988. And then under political speech may not be punished. Hear that, Rachel? Political speech may not be punished. You hear that, Metcalf? Political speech may not be punished. Or enjoined. Do you hear that? You can't stop it or punish it unless it falls into one of the narrow categories of unprotected speech recognized by the Supreme Court. That comes from Planned Parenthood of Columbia Willamette, Inc.
So I'm curious, am I engaging in that unlawful speech that they're pretending that Lane is? I don't think I've ever called for any kind of violence ever. Once ever. Never happened. But I've never said, hey, let's reach out and harass this person. What have I always said, right? Peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. Does that sound like I want people to harass people? Please, here's the quote. Please, I implore you, peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. That's literally at the end of almost every single one of my videos. How can somebody hear words like that and say, well, didn't you see his hour live? It was about the victim. He must want you to reach out and harass the victim. Never mind the fact that I literally closed the video out by saying, I implore you. What does that mean? I implore you. What does that mean? That means I'm begging you, right? That means I'm begging people. I'm begging you, please, peacefully is the next word I say. Peacefully. Now, what does peacefully mean? Does peacefully mean get violent with Shannon and Matt? Well, in the gay male chat room, it might mean exactly that. But I don't know. So, please, I implore you. I guess that's a little redundant, huh? Maybe I need to edit that out. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. I'm specifically invoking the First Amendment right to petition. But somehow in Pima County, the demented morons think that means reach out and harass. Okay. That's why they never watch the videos. There's never any proper context. They just say, oh, he was talking about Shannon. Oh, he's talking about Matt. Well, guess what, you fucking twits? We're allowed to. Fuck.
Versus American Coalition of Life Activists, 9th Circuit, 2002, 290, Federal
I
Reporter.
did see that
3rd,
post.
1058 at 1092.
That place is
I know
a
you
death
read cases
mill.
every day. Well, you should probably read these cases because they're going to be the cases that overturn anything you try to argue.
I don't believe anybody in here has shown that intent. And I, you know what? I know that several people have sent emails. Right? When it was appropriate, when it was the appropriate time to send emails. I'm not sure when the hell that was, but emails that talked about specifically the issues that we're talking about here. I'm sorry, but the judge can't shield you from people emailing you and telling you that you're corrupt. As long as you work for the public, you're going to get those emails. Now, I'm not telling anybody to again, I'm specifically asking people not to reach out to this cunt. But at the very end, you will hear what I always say. So, you know what I mean? No, I've never wanted anybody to be harassed because we don't need to harass them. We can point out the things that are so obvious about their corruption that why would we need to harass them about things that are not relevant? We have plenty of material that we can address that is specific and that is relevant. So I don't think that we need to reach out and threaten or harass anybody. We can just reach out and point at them and ridicule them for the things that they've done, right? The way that they've committed perjury, or should that? I mean, that's okay, right? When was that? When did that become okay that you could just commit perjury and then nobody care? Oh, it's because you're married to the prosecutor, who's also a corrupt piece of shit. Okay.
And I'll explain why you're actually self-defeating in your arguments tomorrow when I tell you what's going to happen next if I'm still on trial Tuesday. And you can show the judge what I said too, because I hope he retaliates.
Redress can also be it's also a verb, so it can be used in different ways.
Let's see. Because we like when the judge makes arbitrary and capricious decisions, uses his discretion, and makes legal error, as he's been doing throughout this whole case. You also signed an illegal plea bargain. That's not my fault, but it is to my benefit. Okay, so now moving on, I'm going to read you a little story. And this story, I read this at court at the motion to modify conditions hearing, which somehow isn't recorded, even though there was people on the Zoom, special people, certain people with certain names, like victim or alleged victim.
Sadly, John, it was only 10 minutes that those 33 lies occurred in. It only took her 10 minutes to lie 33 times to a judge after saying that she wouldn't lie. But we shouldn't be upset about that. And we shouldn't send emails. We definitely shouldn't do that. Don't do that. But it's okay that she lies 33 times in 10 minutes. Okay, you nasty cunt.
And those people are allowed to be on Zoom, but apparently nobody else, so they want you to read it on a transcript. So I want the people...
Exactly. Why not go after the person that sent these threatening emails? If she received some threatening emails, let's find out. Listen, I don't think that people should be sending threatening emails. So that'd be against the law, right? So what I think should happen is if somebody sends a threatening email, well, the police should get up off of their ass and investigate, right? They should investigate, and maybe they should prosecute the person that's actually committing the crime, not the person that's saying, hey, this person's corrupt. Here's a picture of the email address on the screen, and you're left to decide for yourself what to do with that. But that's somehow That's somehow, and that didn't even happen in this alleged violation of probation, which is a bunch of fucking bullshit. But that's what we're talking about.
This is for the people, by the people. This is my thoughts. This is pure speech. You ready? Okay. So let's make sure I got this all lined up. Okay, here we go. And about to read it. So on that note, here we go. So I'm Lane Myers, and I'm currently being held in jail with no bond for hurting the government's feelings. But we all live in a world. Anybody with half a brain would know that the government can't be a victim of harassment from speech. But the professional witness seems to disagree, even though he's a prosecutor with a law license, licensed to practice law. But the thing is the Bar Association is, yeah. Let me leave that one out for right now. I'll have a lot to say about the Bar Association once my dog is back in my possession. The rights of free speech, so precious to this nation since its founding, are not limited to soft murmurings behind the doors of a person's home or private conversations with like-minded friends and family. These guarantees protect the right of every American to express their beliefs in public. The guarantees of free speech are not only for those who are deemed sufficiently enlightened, advanced, progressive, or for you, Metcalf, credible. They are for everyone. Metcalf at the hearing said that I'm not credible because I'm pro se. That's why I threw that in there. This freedom to differ is not limited to things that do not matter much. The test of its substance is the right to differ as to things that touch the heart of the existing order. Given this reality, the government must not be allowed to force persons to express a message contrary to their deepest convictions. If there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official, high or petty, can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics, nationalism, religion, or other matters of opinion. In examining the text of Arizona's free speech clause, we must first observe that whereas the First Amendment is phrased as a constraint on government, our state's provision, by contrast, is a guarantee of the individual right to freely speak, write, and publish, subject only to constraint for the abuse of that right. Pure speech is pure speech. Thus, by its terms, the Arizona Constitution provides broader protections for free speech than the First Amendment. A violation of First Amendment principles necessarily implies a violation of the broader protections of Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 6. At the heart of the First Amendment lies the principle that each person should decide for himself or herself the ideas and beliefs deserving of expression, consideration, and adherence, and that any government action that requires the utterance of a particular message favored by government contravenes this essential right. 1 second. Vega, what's the First Amendment? Come say it. Free speech. Come say it. Free speech. See what I'm saying? Even these inmates know that. Even a convicts know that. Okay. Pure speech is protected under both the Arizona Constitution and the First Amendment. Pure speech includes written and spoken words as well as other media such as paintings, music, and film that predominantly serve to express thoughts, emotions, or ideas. Pure speech also includes artwork. The First Amendment protects art for art's sake. Leave my thumbnails alone. Purely expressive activity or pure speech is entitled to fall under the First Amendment. Whether a third party is able to discern any articulable message, especially from artwork, is simply irrelevant in terms of whether it's protected under the First Amendment. So it doesn't matter what my thumbnails mean. It's not for you to decide. It's for me. They're for me. The essence of free speech protection is a person's autonomy over what to say and when to say it. Government regulation of speech must be measured in minimums, not maximums. And in seeking to promote a valid governmental interest, it should avoid adopting a prophylactic approach, a prophylactic rule of speech that is unduly burdensome and not narrowly tailored. Because First Amendment freedoms need breathing space to survive, broad prophylactic rules in the area of free expression are suspect. Precision of regulation must be the touchstone in an area so closely touching our most precious freedoms. The enduring strength of the First Amendment is that it allows people to speak their minds and express their beliefs without government interference. Casting Mr. Myers' free speech and exercise rights in a cynical light does grave harm to a society. As Justice Jackson observed in Barnett, struggles to coerce uniformity of sentiment in support of some end thought, essential to their time and country, have been waged by many good as well as by evil men, especially crooked-ass prosecutors. But inevitably, those bent on its accomplishment must resort to an ever-increasing severity. This court would be wise to heed his warning, and Lane Myers' warning, about government efforts to compel uniformity of beliefs and ideas. As governmental pressure towards unity becomes greater, so strife becomes more bitter as to whose unity shall be. Ultimate futility of attempts to compel coherence is the lesson of every such effort, from the Roman drive to stamp out Christianity as a disturber of its pagan unity, the Inquisition as a means to religious and dynastic unity, the Siberian exiles as a means to Russian unity, down to the fast-failing efforts of our present totalitarian enemies, like North Korea, where I'm currently being held. Those who began the coercive elimination of dissent soon find themselves exterminating dissenters. Compulsory unification of opinion achieves only the unanimity of the graveyard. With that being said, this court must modify or eliminate the disputed illegal conditions of probation because they violate Mr. Myers' constitutional rights both on their face and as applied. These conditions fail to provide due process because probation terms violate due process if a person of ordinary intelligence cannot understand what conduct is required or prohibited. Quite frankly, these conditions are so unconstitutional that even above-average intelligence lawyers, judges, law professors, FBI agents, pro se idiots, probation officers, prosecutors, wannabe probation officers, professional victims, and others struggle to discern exactly what is required or prohibited by these conditions. This is epitomized by the fact that Mr. Myers is sitting here in shackles and an orange jumpsuit for allegedly violating these conditions. Solely, so I got to be careful, but I did say this in court, based solely on Tucson prosecutor / probation officer / professional witnesses' interpretation of these conditions. Actual probation has one interpretation. Rachel Stiles has her misguided interpretation. Ooh, should I say it? Should I say it? Should I say it? The alleged victim has her interpretation. Defense counsel has his interpretation. This court has its interpretation. But most importantly, Mr. Myers has his interpretation. That interpretation is that these conditions require him to guess at its contours and can be applied arbitrarily and capriciously as they currently are. Mr. Myers is being held without bond with absolute zero evidence he has violated these conditions as written. It's based strictly on multiple people's interpretation, of course all incorrectly and illegally. Make no mistake, these conditions at issue here today are blatantly unconstitutional, and any violations or alleged violations, real or perceived, will be immediately dismissed upon appeal. Mr. Myers spent 11 months following these illegal conditions while researching the legality of these conditions. It is unequivocal that the conditions at issue today are not supported by any case law in Arizona or United States history, violate the Arizona and United States Constitution, and go far beyond any reasonable nexus related to protecting the alleged victim or rehabilitating Mr. Myers. Mr. Myers will never stop criticizing government employees because he does not have to. Mr. Myers' pure speech and artwork, including my thumbnails, are the absolute zenith of protected liberty interests. The Arizona Constitution does not say all persons other than Mr. Myers, or all persons except those on probation may speak, write, and publish freely. This court must do everything in its power to protect Mr. Myers' liberty interests, even at the expense of the alleged victim and the professional witness, government employees feeling uncomfortable or ridiculed. Welcome to being adults. You're currently employed by the government. Stop crying and get over it. Learn how to ignore things that make you uncomfortable. This court must restore order and turn this back into a court of law and not a court of feelings. There is no reasonable nexus to censoring Mr. Myers from talking about his own court case, from associating with law-abiding citizens, and not allowing him to even mention the name of two government employees. Privacy does not outweigh protected liberty interests. if I said their names in court, I should probably say it now, but what's funny is I said their names in court. So if professional witness and alleged victim do not want to face scrutiny in their positions of employment.
I'll cut through the subtext there. Shannon Walker and Matt Walker.
As public servants, then resign immediately. This is the year 2026, not Orwell's 1984. So, what I'm waiting for is the fact that that's the end of the speech. Standing ovation, thank you, thank you, thank you, I'll be here all night. And so, what is going to be interesting is they're charging me for violations on the interview with Liberty Troll, where I didn't say their name, but I said professional victim. But when I was in court reading that speech, I said their names multiple times throughout the speech, called them a professional victim in the speech, said their names, their position. So will I only be charged for saying it in an interview? Or are they also going to say I violated probation in court talking to the judge? And I want to just give you a sneak preview of what we're going to talk about tomorrow's bedtime story, Rachel, so you can have time to study case law and also watch a couple movies. You start playing, you got me locked in a cage. You're destroying my relationship. But here's where we draw a hard and fast line. You start fucking with my dog, have a good night, y'all.
Well, I am looking forward to the next bedtime story, I have to admit. Alright, everybody. Any closing questions? We'll go out the same way we came in. I appreciate everybody coming in here, and if you have the means to help Lane, please help him. If not, share the message. We need the channel that isn't afraid, that isn't a coward, and that is a hell of a lot bigger than me, because I'm not cutting it. You know what I mean? I'm talking to the same people, and I love you guys. I'm not saying that because of anything. I'm just saying, I'm just being real. I've got you guys, and then I've got Pima County and Tucson City Prosecutor and Shaney. They are my biggest fans. Yeah, no, I'm not down in Liberty Troll. Thank God Liberty. I mean, he's bigger than me. Liberty Troll, I think 857 Tucson's bigger than me. And I'm very, very grateful. I'm grateful for every single channel that has covered this. I'm probably most grateful for the smallest channel, which is Illuminate the Dark, because without that, I think all of us would be in the dark. So, please spread the word. All right, y'all.
Commander, copy,
Goes like, this is a public service on YouTube.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
It's burning down. Commander, come in, please. Answer. The Babylon's on fire. It's burning down.
Yeah, pulling up like I'm in Liberty City with all the wanted stars. Entourage full of freedom fighters throwing Molotovs, disobeying martial law and carrying steel. No Bob Marley, bitch, we went and shot the sheriff for real. And in the air you could feel there's no solution as the tension's brewing. They took our freedom, so we're fighting for some restitution. And all my fellow patriots are either dead or shooting, unleashing retribution. It's the fucking revolution, and they gon' tear this whole establishment down with dreams of building something great from all the ashes around. Yeah, they thought we were the sheep, but take a gaze at us now, through all the smoke and the fire. When the radio sounds like
Commander, copy, come in. You hear me? Babylon's on fire. It's burning down. Commander, come in, please. Answer. The Babylon's on fire. It's burning down.
they can stop the slaughter when we bust that rocket launcher. SWAT officer yelling, please sir, no, I got a daughter. Listen, we don't care. Half our soldiers have got children at stake. So either fight with us or hollow points will seal your fate. Cause while the people you've been serving kept us timid and tame and destroyed our fucking planet all for money and power, we all been treated like the pawns within their sinister games. And now we watch them flee like rodents from their crumbling towers. Yeah, they begging for we murdered them. When y'all assassinated all our hope for change, where was the mercy then? And now y'all want forgiveness when the fucking guns
This
are
is a public
smoking, and
service.
your perfect
This is a
picket
public
fences
service.
are all busted open shit. You must be fucking joking. Y'all had your moment to live lavish and peaceful. We endured through all the tyranny and madness and evil. Now we've had it and we will burn your corporations down, sever heads, take your crowns and give them back to the
goes like
people.
this is a public service on YouTube.
Copy, come in.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
Babylon's on fire. It's burning down. Commander, come in, please. Answer.
It goes by this is a public service on YouTube.
Babylon's on fire. It's burning down.
Who goes by this is a public service on YouTube. Who goes by this is a public service on YouTube. Who goes by this is a public service on YouTube.
By those who swore.
This is a public service.
This is a public service.
We're out here today to ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I
Implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.